Welcome back to the Garden Bench Top, where we explore the ups and downs of our beloved green friends. Now today's a special project day. I'm going to be reviving an orchid that originally belonged to my mum. Now this little beauty is in rough shape, and I'm determined to bring it back to life using the garlic method. So let's dive into the analysis of this sickly orchid and figure out what we need to do to revive it. First things first, let's take a closer look at this orchid. As you can see, this plant is really struggling. The flowers have dried up completely and the flower stems are starting to wilt and yellow. Now if we take a closer look at the orchid, you can see that the leaves are dusty and in dire need of a wash. Dust on leaves can block sunlight and hinder photosynthesis, so we definitely need to give them a good clean. Okay, let's turn our attention to this pot. Now, this orchid is sitting in a typical non-draining ceramic pot that you might find at a local supermarket. While it looks pretty, it's not doing our orchid any favours. Proper drainage is crucial for orchids to thrive, and this setup is likely contributing to its issues. Speaking of which, I've noticed some worrying signs with the roots. They are rotting, which shows clear evidence of mould and bacteria growth. Definitely not ideal. The roots are also surrounded by wet sphagnum moss, which could be retaining too much moisture and suffocating our poor plant. In addition to the rotting roots, I spotted yellowing leaves and even one leaf showing signs of a fungal issue developing. But don't worry, we're going to nurse it back to health. Before we start the revival process, we need to perform an antiseptic clean to tackle that mould and bacteria. Here's what you'll need: a pair of sanitized scissors, rubbing alcohol for cleaning, a clean container for healthy roots, and fresh orchid bark mix. Okay, the first step is to always sanitize your scissors. This will prevent any further infections from spreading to other plants and to other parts of this orchid. The next step we're going to do is carefully remove the orchid from its pot. I'm going to take these scissors that I've just sanitized and trim away any dead or unhealthy roots. Remember to be gentle, this is just like performing plant surgery. We're also going to be taking care of any of the dead parts above the soil. That includes flower stems, old flowers, and any leaves that we suspect are unhealthy. After you've trimmed your plant, you're going to need to rinse the healthy parts of the plant under some lukewarm water to remove any remaining debris. This will help us assess how many roots we have left and what is still viable to revive this orchid. Now that we've cleaned up all the roots, it's time to make our garlic solution. Garlic is known for its antifungal properties, so it's perfect for combating any lingering issues. Here's what you're going to need for the solution: 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, water, a small container, and a strainer. Now to make this magical garlic solution, we need to release all that garlicky power. And to do this, there are a few different ways. I personally like to smash the garlic cloves to get maximum release. But you can also simply just slice up the garlic cloves and soak them in the water. Now before we move on, let's talk about why garlic is so beneficial for our orchids. First up, the antifungal properties. Garlic contains compounds that can help prevent fungal infections in plants. This is crucial for our orchids' health as it combats any mold or bacteria growth that we saw earlier. And we all know about garlic's strong scent. Love it or hate it, that strong smell of garlic helps to repel many common pests that can harm our orchid. It's like having a natural bodyguard for your plant. And finally, did you know that garlic can help boost the nutrient intake of your plants? By feeding your orchid this garlic solution, you'll be giving them that extra kick they need to thrive. The next step is to pour a cup of hot water over the smashed garlic and let it steep. Now I like to let it steep overnight, but if you're in a rush, you can steep it for as little as 30 minutes to an hour, and that should do the trick. This will help infuse the water with all those beneficial properties that the garlic delivers. With our garlic solution ready, let's repot this orchid. Now whenever I go to repot a plant, I like to fill the bottom third of the pot with the soil, creating a little mound in the middle, a bit like a pyramid, so that the roots will splay out evenly. I'm going to be using a soil orchid bark hybrid mixture. Using orchid bark mix has several benefits. First, it provides excellent drainage, which prevents root rot and allows excess water to escape quickly. Second, it mimics the natural living habit of orchids since they are epiphytic. So what exactly is an epiphytic plant? These plants are adapted to grow on other plants without harming the other. They get support from their host while delivering nutrients from their surroundings. This is why using bark mix is so essential for our orchids. It allows them to replicate their natural behaviour. In addition to that, I won't be reusing the ceramic pot plant that came with the plant originally. The reason for this, as explained earlier, so that there is plenty of drainage to allow excess water to escape. Now of course this means that we're going to have to water and maybe miss the plant more than we used to, but by using a pot plant that has plenty of drainage and air holes, it means excess water can escape and prevent that buildup of bacteria, which eventually leads to root rot. Now for the star of the show, the garlic solution. I'm going to carefully water the orchid with the garlic solution, just enough to give it a nice drink but not drown in it. And again, any excess garlic solution will escape from the air holes and the drainage down the bottom in the pot. We definitely want to avoid repeating past mistakes. After applying the garlic solution, it's important to give my orchid some TLC. I'm going to place it in a spot with bright, indirect light and keep an eye on the moisture levels. As mentioned before, a misting every other day will help to keep the humidity levels high, plus it'll provide an essential source of water for the orchid. It also helps to mimic the natural environment, as in a rain shower or the early dewdrops from the early morning. Now don't be too scared about leaving the orchid dry. It can go weeks without water. That said, I wouldn't want to go more than 2 to 3 days if you can help it. Okay, that's it for today. We've done as much as we can for this orchid. I'm excited to see how my mum's orchid responds to this garlic treatment and all the care and love that we've given it today. I'm going to be monitoring this orchid as it goes over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to provide an update video on the outcome of this experiment. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and make sure to leave a comment to let me know that these are the types of videos that you want to see. Till next time, get your hands dirty and happy planting. See ya!